Guys, please be ready for dictation from the Hindu editorial section dated 6th January 2022. Ready? Purveyors of hate, misogyny, and xenophobia have been on a boundless rivalry in India, online and offline, with near total impunity and oftentimes with support from politicians and the police. In the midst of such pervasive police apathy, the swift action by the Mumbai police in tracing and arresting three persons linked to the latest incident involving a fake online auction of Muslim women gives hope that all is not lost. The Mumbai police action also contrasts with the inaction of the Delhi police, who come under the Union Home Ministry, and the Noida police in Uttar Pradesh, a BJP ruled state. In a similar case last year, whether the three arrested were indeed the creators of the ape remains a question of investigation, and the limited police version at the moment is that they were promoting the platform at a minimum. The commissioner of the Mumbai police has said the probe is continuing and anyone involved in the crime, directly or indirectly, will be arrested and prosecuted. It is delicious irony that the Mumbai police reports to the Maharashtra government led by the Shiv Sena, long accused of xenophobic politics. The Mumbai police were also quick to act in an earlier case involving threats to cricketer Virat Kohli for standing up for his Muslim teammate. It is indeed baffling that the Delhi police, that is expected to play a critical role in securing the lives of all important functionaries of the country, threw their hands up when faced with the challenge of identifying some random imposters on social media. Such a level of incompetence or connivance is ominous. The Delhi police say they have written to GitHub, the US based platform that hosted the toxic apps. They are also seeking the Mutual Legal Assistance Treaty procedure to find information about the app from the US. After its intelligence fusion, the Strategic Operations Unit took over the case. All this is being revealed after a second FIR was filed this week. Sena MP Priyanka Chaturvedi had written to the Union IT Minister in July and September, but several social media platforms or events that were being used to berate Muslim women. In November, the minister replied that the ministry was working on identifying the gaps in current legislation to address contemporary issues of cyberspace, including provisions to protect citizens, especially women, from any online harassment and cyberbullying. While that is necessary, it cannot be an excuse to let online mobs roam free. The police must identify and arrest the original culprit, but if that process takes months on end, there have to be interim measures to enforce the rule of law. The Mumbai police have done exactly that, in acting with the alacrity that this case deserves. India's post-COVID economic recovery remains delicately poised at the turn of the new year, the third successive year under the shadow of the pandemic. With the Union Budget for 2022 to 23 less than 4 weeks away. The latest set of numbers, capturing different aspects of the economy, present a mixed picture with persistent pressure points. COVID-19 restrictions are already denting India's services exporters' order books, even as merchandise exports have hit a record high in December. Worryingly, though, imports grew even faster last month than exports, keeping the merchandise trade deficit at an elevated $22 billion, just a tad less than the record $22.9 billion in November. The 8 core sectors had a disappointing November, but GST collections from that month were reasonably healthy at around rupees 1.3 lakh crore, albeit a 3-month low. GST compensation cess revenues touched a record high in November, but customs duty collections dipped to a 5-month low. The Purchasing Managers Indices under bracket PMI for manufacturing and services were robust for December, but have moderated from previous months even as input cost pressures remain a headache for businesses, along with the prospect of the latest virus wave upending normalcy again. For the first time in 4 months, firms surveyed for the PMI by IHS Markit reported broad-based job losses in manufacturing and services in December. Global headwinds are shifting after the surge of COVID cases and disruptions, even as inflationary forces have central bankers bracing for interest rate hikes from the US Federal Reserve this year. It will be equally challenging for North Bloc mandarins to conjure up an appropriate mix of relief and support measures for businesses and jobs, preferably going beyond the credit guarantees that appear to have lost traction in sanctions and disbursals in recent months. This needs to be accompanied by a fresh ramp up in healthcare spending, including on COVID inoculations and booster shots, as well as maintaining the bullish stance on public capital expenditure with a demonstrably greater purpose in getting actual projects off the ground. The prospect of more disruptions looms large, even though their extent and impact on GDP may be uncertain at this point. Preparing for the worst may be a good idea, even if it is accepted that manufacturing suffered less in the second wave than during the initial lockdowns in 2020, and may likely be even better prepared to cope with the ongoing third wave. Yet, there is a risk that damage to contact intensive services sectors that have had another topsy-turvy year with lakhs of jobs at stake and heavy barely struggled back from the first two waves could be permanently debilitating this time around. If mobility restrictions spiral in tandem with cases